Again, welcome to Uccello's for today's media luncheon. Head coach Matt Mitchell, joined by tight end Andrew Lorman and defensive end Danny Richard. Coach, if you can just open up some comments in the Hillsdale game, then talk about Indianapolis today.
After watching the tape at Hillsdale yesterday, felt the same way we did coming off the field. We definitely missed a lot of opportunities. 31 points by our offense should have been enough to win the game. And so, our defense did not play to level it needs to play at. And we, for the most part, shut the run down. Last drive, they had a couple, Glendenning had a couple runs, but if you look at it, what we did through the course of 3 quarters, we pretty much stopped the run. And even Cam White, we limited him. What we did not do a good job was we gave up too many big plays. We, especially in man coverage, our corners and our nickels on some of their wide receivers and tight ends did not perform the way we need them to perform. And if you look at their yardage totals, we basically gave up about 200 yards on 4 plays. They had a reverse that we didn't handle very well. They had a long pass down the sideline where our guy lost the ball, kind of in the lights. And then there was the big first down play, the 85-yard touchdown pass where we weren't on top of the route. So big plays, mainly in man coverage with their wide receivers, cost us. On the same, on the flip side of the coin, there were some opportunities for our offense to help our defense out. In the first quarter, we went down on the first drive, and then after that, we went 2 3-and-outs, and they had an interception. And so, and then obviously it was pretty critical there in the fourth quarter. We had a 2nd and 1 that we didn't convert, and a 3rd and 1 we couldn't get the first down. We had to kick the field goal instead of going up by 4. We had to tie the ball game up. So, again, the offense could have helped us out in some certain areas and done some certain things. But at the same time, I felt like 31 points should have been enough to win that ball game. The special teams, if I had that same look on fake punt, I'd do it again every single day of the week and twice on Sunday. We had a missed assignment, we missed a block, and they were able to tackle us. And I think that and the interception put our defense on a couple short fields. That also didn't help matters either, because I think their scoring drives on the 2 second touchdowns were started at 37 and 34. So we put our defense in some bad positions, but we still have to respond from that. So, looking back on the tape, there's definitely times where we have individuals breaking down, and it's costing our football team. And I think that's probably the biggest point of emphasis moving forward today is we've got to clean up individual mistakes, whether it's pre-snap, missed assignments, and or post-snap physically. That stuff has got to get corrected. So we're not going to hit the panic button in any way. We just got to clean up some of our mistakes. And I think we fell on both sides of the ball that if we had to do it over again, we'd stick with our game plans. We just had to execute our game plans a little bit better. The end of the game obviously was a debacle from our side. We had some opportunities when our offense was out there, maybe convert and get it to overtime. We didn't take advantage of those. We put our punt team out there. We get a bad snap. Picano has to scramble to get the punt down there. We had basically our first significant rushing yards of the day given up on the defense, and then kid lines up to kick. I don't know how far it was, probably a 37, 38-yarder, and we run into the kicker and give him another opportunity. So there was a series there with about 2:20 left where we did not play well at all. And we broke down in all 3 phases, offense, defense, and special teams. And that ultimately what cost us the game, didn't allow us to get into overtime. So we're going to do what we know what to do. We're back into work. Got in early Sunday, watched the tape, started getting to work on Indianapolis. It doesn't get any easier. We've got another tough road game on Saturday night also. They're a good football program. Their head coach has been there a long time. Previously, he's the defensive coordinator. They do a really good job on defense. They're very sound in what they do. They're very well coached. So we're going to have to get everything, on offense. Our offense is going to have to get everything. It's not going to be easy. And then their offense, their quarterback is good. The more I watched tape of him yesterday and today, he's only a sophomore, Chris Mills, but he's a very accurate thrower. And they've got 2 wideouts. They've got a senior wideout, Ryan Forney, that I have a lot of respect for. He's a very good player. And I think there's one thing Indianapolis has struggled with the first couple games. It's been their ability to run the ball. So we're going to be probably our defense is going to be under an aerial assault again. And we give up some passing yards Saturday night. So we're going to jump right back into the fire. We've got to be able to get some pressure on the quarterback and be better in the back end of our defense. And we can't have any critical errors on special teams because we've got to try to all three phases got to obviously clean up the play on another tough road game in the GLIAC.
Coach, you probably feel like this every week, but given the loss, do you feel like this is a must-win then coming in this Saturday?
Well, they're all must-wins. I think if you would have asked the seniors heading into the year, will we have to win in Indy? Yeah. I don't think it would have mattered whether we were 0-2, 1-1, 2-0 heading into that game. Do we have to win Indianapolis? Yes, we have to win Indianapolis. Our record prior to that, I don't think at this point makes a difference. Is there a heightened sense of urgency? I hope so. I hope so heading down there. And I think there will be based on who we have in our building.
Does it make you maybe more of a dangerous team at all? Kind of like how Hillsdale was maybe after losing that opener to Ferris?
Again, when I look back upon the game, our approach to the road trip, our pregame meal, the bus ride down, how we were in the locker room, how we warmed up, like our approach was good. It wasn't like we were lackadaisical. I don't feel like we took Hillsdale for granted. I don't think we had kids that there wasn't poor effort. Our sidelines stuck together the whole time. The whole time our kids stuck together. There was never anybody pointing fingers, any doubt. It comes down to, Mike, execution. We're not executing. And I could go back and I could show you some practice tape on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday where we made some mistakes. And we obviously, between coaches and players, did not get those mistakes corrected heading into Saturday. So I don't think it's a thing where, we went down there and walked through the thing, didn't have great approach, and all of a sudden, it's some big wake-up call, and now we're more dangerous because we're more attentive and focused about that. I don't think that's the case whatsoever. I think it comes down to pre-snap and post-snap. We've got to do a better job, the whole crew, of eliminating mistakes. And it's not like we have 11 guys busting on every single play. If you look on a lot of those snaps that we were creating problems on both sides of the ball in special teams, we got one guy here or there that's not executing. And that's what's got to get cleaned up. And that's where we're going to go to work today to try to get done.
How much of that is mental, maybe?
Well, I think a large part of it's mental. I was telling the team the whole week this was not so much about Hillsdale, it was about Grand Valley and how we executed. And when you look at the breakdowns, it's not like it's not like we knew what we were doing and we used the proper technique and we just physically got whipped because the guy that we were going against, whether it's man, a corner on a wideout, it's an offensive guard and a 3 technique, any of the individual one-on-one matchups that you get in football every single time, it wasn't like we were ever at a point where I felt like we were physically whipped or physically mismatched. So to answer your question, it's all mental. It's all between our ears. If we don't know what we're doing pre-snap or post-snap, we don't take the proper footwork or know what we're supposed to do post-snap, that has very little to do with our physical ability and all has to do with our mental ability. And so I think from that standpoint, our sense of urgency of getting that stuff corrected and making sure that mistakes that are being pointed out and coached and practiced get corrected, that's the biggest thing that's got to happen.
Danny, what's your analysis for how the game went, maybe?
Defensively, I thought we played hard. We did a good job of stopping the run, but pretty much like Coach said, it was usually on the big plays were just a miss execution by one player. It's really got to be cleaned up, or else it's going to happen again and again throughout the season. And before we know it, we're going to be losing more games.
How much are you looking forward to this weekend? Maybe redemption's not the right word, but to get out there and prove what Grand Valley football is about?
It's not about redemption. You can't just say, "Oh, now we're mad because we lost." It's about the next 4 or 5 days how we prepare for Indianapolis, and that's it. It doesn't matter whether we lost or won the previous game. I would say every game's independent of each other. We need to come out, execute, and be in the best position to beat Indianapolis, and that's it. We got to move on from Hillsdale.
Andrew, what's your analysis from an offensive side of things, how that Hillsdale game went?
Well, I agree with Danny. I thought all of our guys played really hard, but just the 3 and outs and not giving our defense enough time off the field, keeping them out there for a lot of the game, something our offense really needs to improve on. But other than that, I thought we played hard and just got to execute better.
And same thing with, I got to imagine you're looking forward to getting back on the field and being able to play against Indy on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to the week of practice, see what we're really made of, see how tough we come out to practice each day.
Coach, one observation, and just looking at stats, distributing the ball a little bit more in the passing game, is that something maybe you're looking at? Just because from the numbers standpoint, it looks like a lot of things are going to Javon and Charles Johnson.
Yeah, some of that is a little bit dependent on what the other team's doing also. A couple comments on that. First of all, Greg Gay has to get more involved in our offense. Two reasons he didn't Saturday were, one, as we're going through game planning, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we didn't know whether he was going to be available or not. His hamstring was still causing him some problems. In fact, the first day he really fully practiced, I believe, was on Thursday. And so that, and then coupled with the fact that some of the coverages and the things that Hillsdale do, you're looking more for shots down the field. And that is not so much Greg's game as it maybe is CJ and Augustus's game. Some of the one-on-one matchups. The 71-yard touchdown, that pass that we had to him, was an example. We got play action. He got in behind the secondary. And those are the opportunities that Hillsdale provided that maybe some other teams, didn't up to that point. So, I definitely think moving forward, some of it depends on what we're seeing, and, two, getting Greg back healthy and be important with that. So I thought both of our running backs ran, we distributed the carries pretty equally, and I thought they both ran hard. I think, we got to get a few more explosive runs. We've had a lot of 8, 9, 10, 11. We've got to start getting some of the bigger chunk runs, and some of it has to do with blocking in the perimeter. And then there's sometimes where those running backs get out in space and they're one-on-one with a DB from an opposing team. They've got to win. They got to win those one-on-one tackling opportunities. And I don't know if we did as good a job as we possibly could Saturday.
Coach, a little bit about the third down efficiency of Hillsdale. They were able to convert nearly 50% during the game.
Yeah, huge factor, especially in the first half. We did a good job, I thought, again, stopping the run on first and second down, and then we got in third down, and they were converting all their third downs. Looking back upon it, it's the same theme. We're playing man coverage. We got two guys on the same level. We get picked. We're playing cover two. They throw a bender. We're not in the right position. And then you flip, and we got some of that stuff corrected in the third quarter. We gave up 22 yards. Hillsdale had 22 yards offense in the third quarter, and we got off the field quite a bit in the third quarter on third downs because we got some of those things corrected. So, again, it wasn't a scheme issue. It was just a little bit of an execution issue, especially in our secondary, and with some guys that made some mistakes that, quite frankly, they can't make.
You bring up Greg's health. Overall, health-wise, how is the team?
I think we're pretty healthy. I've got to check again. We've got running and lifting here when we get done with this thing. So Mark has done a preliminary report to me based on checking the guys checking in Sunday. We got some nicks and some bruises and some things. We'll see how those things play out. There wasn't anything that happened Saturday that would result in a kid missing multiple games. So whether or not we have anybody miss something Saturday, I think is yet to be determined.
What has to happen here so this Hillsdale loss doesn't turn into two losses?
Well, and that's a great point. We have to go in there, and I think the first thing is we have to address it to the team. We're not going to go in there and yell and scream and throw stuff. I've already seen several players in there and talked to several players. They're going to be they're down. That's how they're going to approach the thing. We got to get in there and watch that tape. We got to correct our errors and see the mistakes we made, and at some point we got to flush that game. We have to learn from it. But at about 4:30, 5 o'clock today, that thing, we've got to separate ourselves from that a little bit from the standpoint of the lingering of the loss and how it's affecting us emotionally. And we got to get right back on the horse and get to work. And I know that's going to happen based on the coaches and the players that we have in our locker room. We're going to get back to work. And whether or not we win at Indianapolis, as Danny mentioned, and I think will be, all of our players have mentioned, will be about how we practice, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and how we approach a trip on Friday. That'll be what it's all about.
Okay, thanks, Coach.